Hi there, this is Mr. Vaughn and we are doing some geometry together. We are basically I'm trying to help you to pass whatever test you might need to take to get into college or to get a GED, or if you just, want to refresh yourself in math. All right, so this is lesson 4.9, that's unit 4 in the GED text, lesson 9. Okay, so our objective is that we're going to learn how to calculate the surface area and the volume of composite solids. And we're really, on this video, we're just going to be looking at volume. All right, so what's a composite solid? A composite solid, well, first of all, it's a three-dimensional figure that's solid. And also, composite just means something that's made up of more than one part. All right? So most of the solids that you look around and see in life are not just one shape, right? It's not just a triangle or a cone. It's made up of various shapes. For example, this table right here. Okay, this is made up of different shapes. It's got a prism, a rectangular prism, and it has 4 cylinders. All right, so what if we wanted to know the volume of this solid for whatever reason? All right, so in the description below, I have a link to the notes and a formula sheet for this lesson, so make sure you check that out. All right, so here's our first problem here, all right? So we have a table that we want to build. I have the dimensions here that are given. And the question is, the material for the tabletop weighs 50 pounds per cubic foot. All right, and the material for the legs is 120 pounds per cubic foot. So the material for the legs is going to be much more dense. All right, so the final question is, how much does the table weigh? How much does the table weigh? Well, I thought we were talking about volume. Well, before we can find the weight, we're going to need to figure out the volume, because if you take a look, see that right there? Pounds per cubic foot, right? That's a measure of volume. So if we can figure out the volume, we can find the weight. All right, so what is the volume of this table? Well, we're going to have to take this into parts. We can't do it all at the same time, right? So for all of these composite shapes, you got to do one piece at a time, all right? So I'm going to start with a tabletop, okay? I know that is a rectangular prism, and I know how to find the volume of a rectangular prism. We did this in a previous video. I know that the volume of my tabletop, of this rectangular prism, is going to be the area of my base times the height. All right, for any rectangular prism, that is my volume formula. Okay, so let's take a look here. So the area of my base. What's the area of my base? Well, the area of the base, what are the dimensions? Well, this is an 8 by 4, isn't it? So the area of the base is just going to be 8 by 4. So I got 8 feet by 4 feet. I'm just going to include the units here just so you can see what happens to them. All right, so that's the area of my base. That's the area of my base. Okay, now I need the height. What's the height? Well, the height is just, the thickness of this table. The height is 0.5 or a half a foot. All right, so I'm going to write that down as a half a foot. Okay, now we can just crunch these numbers. All right, lots of different ways you can do this. You can go half of 4. Half of 4 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. All right, or you can go 8 times 4 is 32. Half of 32 is 16. Or you can go a half of 8 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Any way you slice it, we're getting 16 cubic feet. All right, so the volume of my table is 16 cubic feet. All right, that's going to be important. Okay, but we have more than just a tabletop. What about the legs? All right, we want to know how much does the entire table weigh. So that means I'm going to need to find the volume of the legs. All right, so let's do this in blue. Let's do the volume of, I'll just say L for legs. Volume of my legs. Okay, that's a cylinder. Do you remember what the formula for the area or the volume of a cylinder is? Well, once again, it's just the area of the base times the height. All right? So what is the area of my base? Well, the area of the base is just a circle, right? It's just a circle. So, do you know what the formula for the area of a circle? If you remember, it's pi r squared. Pi r squared is the formula for the area of a circle. And the height, well, we're just going to keep it as height for right now. All right, so there's my formula for the volume, pi r squared h. Now let's go ahead and put some numbers in here. Let's see, pi is just pi. R, okay, now what's R? R stands for radius. Is the radius 0.5? Now remember, the radius of a circle is just halfway across the circle. All right? So a half of 0.5 would be 0.25. All right, so we got 0.25. Don't forget to square that. And then my height. What's the height of my legs? 4 feet. All right? And by the way, that's feet as well, 0.25 feet. Okay, so now I can crunch these numbers. Remember the order of operations. Do your exponents first. So 0.25 squared is 0.625. I multiply that by 4 to get 0.25. And then I got to multiply that by pi. Which gives me 0.79. 0.79. I'm going to double check that. 0.25 squared times 4 pi. Yeah. 0. So about, I'm going to round it to 2 decimals. 0.79. All right. So the volume of my leg is 0.79, and that's in cubic feet. Now here's where you got to be careful. When you're doing these problems, always use, you got to think, all right? That's the volume for how many legs? That's just one leg. But I have 4 legs. So I'm going to have to multiply that by 4. All right, so times 4 legs. And what does that equal? Times 4, 3.14. So it equals pi. So it equals about 3.14 cubic feet. All right, that's the volume of my legs. In fact, let's do that right here. 3.14. All right? Now, if I wanted to, if the question was asking, hey, if they were just asking, hey, what's the total volume of this table? At this point, all I need to do is add the volume of my tabletop with the volume of my legs, and I would get, what, 19.14? So my total volume would be 19.14. But that's not what they're asking in this question. They're asking, how much does the table weigh? All right, and you'll notice that the tabletop weighs different than the legs, so we can't just do it all together. We have to do these separately. Okay, so let me do this. So our volume of our table is 16 cubic feet, and our volume of our legs is 3.14 cubic feet. And I'll erase all this because I don't have space on my whiteboard. Okay, we got our answers there. Okay, so let's start with our tabletop. Okay, I want to know the weight of my tabletop. And I'm just going to do, that's a subscript, right? This is the weight of my table. Equals. All right, well, the weight of my table is what? 50 pounds. 50 pounds per cubic foot. Right? So that's really not telling me how much it weighs. If I were to ask you, hey, how much do you weigh? You wouldn't say, I weigh 200 pounds per cubic foot. You wouldn't say that, right? This basically is saying, hey, for every cubic foot, it's going to weigh 50 pounds. So for 2 cubic feet, it's going to be 100 pounds, and so forth and so on. But I have 16 cubic feet. How would I find the weight? See, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can find the total weight of the tabletop. All right, I'm not sure how you did it, but I'm going to use what we call unit analysis or dimensional analysis. Okay, I got pounds per cubic foot. Okay, what I want to be left with is I want to be left with pounds, right? Because I'm trying to find the weight. I want to be left with pounds. That means I need to get rid of cubic feet. Okay, using multiplication and division, how can I get rid of the cubic feet? If this is the numerator, the 50 is the numerator, and this down here is the denominator, would I put the cubic feet on the top or the bottom to get rid of the cubic feet? Well, if I put it down here, that's not going to give me cubic feet. That's not going to cancel the cubic feet out, right? It's just going to make it even bigger. All right? However, if I put cubic feet on the top, it's kind of like 2 over 2, right? 2 over 2 is 1. So since I have cubic feet down here, if I put cubic feet on the top, they're going to essentially cancel. Because cubic feet over cubic feet is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. All right, so what's the number that goes here? Well, that's the volume of my tabletop. The volume is 16 cubic feet. All right, so if there's 50 pounds in a single cubic feet, how many pounds are there in 16 cubic feet? You could have also used a proportion for this. It would have been just as good. All right, so this basically gives me 50 times 16. And 50 times 16 is 800. So the weight of my tabletop is 800 what? Pounds. All right, now is that the answer they're looking for? Let's go back to the question. How much does the table weigh? Well, that's just the weight of the tabletop. I got to find the weight of the legs also. All right, so let's do this in blue. The weight of the legs. Okay, see if you can find the weight of the legs using unit analysis. All right, let's give it a try. see what we come up with. The weight of the legs, they're heavier, right? Per cubic foot, they're 120. Sorry, not 120 feet, 120 pounds per cubic foot. Numerator, denominator. I'm going to extend this out. Okay, I want to get rid of my cubic feet. Where do I put it? Right there on the top. See, most people, they don't include their units. They just throw the numbers up there, and that's why they're lost. Trust me, trust me, trust me. It's so important to show your units. That's why it's called unit analysis, okay? All right, so how many cubic feet do we have? Well, what's the volume of our legs? About 3.14. 3.14 cubic feet. Now you'll see that cubic feet over cubic feet are going to cancel. And we have 120 times 3.14, which is, oops, 120 times 376.8. So the weight of my legs is, sorry, short-term memory here, 376.8, and that's pounds. That's the only units that's left. All right. So, now is that our answer? I'll always go back to the question. How much does the table weigh? Well, the tabletop weighs 800 pounds. The legs weigh 376.8 pounds. What is the total weight? Well, you guessed it, I just got to add them together. So, the weight total. Now I use my subscripts to communicate. The weight total is 800 plus 376.8. So my total weight is 809, 10, 11, 1176.8, and that's in pounds. And I just rounded that to the nearest tenth. All right? So there you have it. So by being able to figure out the volume of this table and knowing the weight per cubic foot, I was able to find the total weight of this table. All right? This is going to be, that's all about over a half a ton. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful to you. We can use volume for lots of different applications. This is just one. But make sure you subscribe to my channel. That way you get notified anytime I make new videos. And don't forget, in the description below, I have the notes and a formula sheet that goes along with this lesson. All right? Till next time, may God richly bless you.